Hey and welcome to the Simply Create Business Podcast. The episodes focus on businesses in the Essex to East London area, bringing you their story, their journey and a great insight into local businesses. In each episode, we explore where it all started, where they are now and what's next. On this episode, we're excited to announce that we jump straight into Quickfire Questions with Nomi Rana, a comics and fantasy artist. We're going to dive straight in. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, first of all, I've got 10 kind of quickfire questions for you. You just answer them as and when and how you like to, all right?
Okay.
So first of all, are Jaffa cakes a biscuit or a cake?
Biscuit.
Okay, takeaway or eat out at a restaurant?
Eat at a restaurant.
Instagram or Snapchat?
Instagram.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Mac or PC?
PC.
Autumn or spring?
I'd say spring.
Music while you work or silence?
Music while I work.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Probably say, that's a hard question to ask. I'd say telekinesis.
Telekinesis, nice. What is your least favourite chore?
Least favourite chore? I'd say probably, it's a hard one really as well. Probably washing the dish, hoovering.
Hoovering. One thing you would definitely take to a desert island?
Desert islands. Chocolate.
Chocolate. Well, yeah, there's definitely not going to be any of that there.
Exactly.
And what either or type of question, like the ones I've just asked you, should I ask future guests?
Future guests relating to same thing that I'm
Yeah,
into?
anything. Yeah, definitely.
I'm stuck with it already. I'd say probably favorite album.
Favorite album. Brilliant.
Yeah,
Okay. Nice.
Album, yeah.
Okay, so I haven't introduced you. We've just jumped into some stuff, so people can get to know a little bit kind of about you and your choices.
Yeah, sure.
But now's your chance to tell whoever's listening or watching
Okay.
a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what your hobbies are, overview of what and how you do stuff.
Okay, my name's Nomi Rana. I originally come from East London, mainly Leyton area. I've moved recently from there to Chadwell Heath. I studied art and design for a very long time, since secondary to college to uni and art school. Been doing it for roughly on about, say, 30 odd years. I had a kind of like a fairly early on interest in comics. And from there, that probably progressed into what I am currently doing right now. Really.
Okay. So tell everyone, what is it that you currently do?
Okay, what I do is I actually do kind of like pin-ups of comic book characters. At the same time, I create my own characters as well, and I try to sell prints. And I actually am an artist for hire to do commissions as well.
Okay, great.
Anyone who requests it.
Just to jump in here, anybody who's listening to this or watching, we are in a Costa, so the noise kind of we can't control 100%, but we'll try and speak as loud as we can, and we'll try to get everything across as best we can. But going back, so you're an artist, you draw comic book characters, both ones that you create and ones that already exist,
Yeah.
and you do commissions. So tell people a little bit about how that works as a business.
I attend comic cons. Any similar things like art fairs or community art fairs that happen as well. And what I try to do is basically, originally first of all I tried to create my own characters, which I do all the time. But attending the cons as well, fan art is also what's needed. That's what attracts the customers, to the table as it is. So I had to actually create pictures of obviously superheroes from Spider-Man, Batman, also things like anything in comics really.
Okay.
Same with anime and manga as well, which I also touch. And sometimes I've been requested to do portraits of people as Spider-Man or and Superman.
So taking the human as a normal person portrait and adding them into being a superhero.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
So I'll do that as well, really. So
and this is going to be a really important question for anyone listening that's into it. But do you have a favourite, like current superhero?
I'm the big. With Marvel characters, Wolverine's always been my favourite.
Yes,
since I've grown up.
He's my favourite as well. So
Wolverine's a favourite. Obviously, I've got a picture in there as well. So
we'll show you that a bit later.
And with DC, obviously, it's a tie between a character called the Spectre.
Okay.
And currently a character whose movie's coming out this year called Shazam.
Okay. A movie character coming out this year, but it exists already, obviously, in DC.
Yeah, DC.
But Shazam film was coming out this year.
In April.
There you go. If you didn't know that, I didn't.
April,
and do you go to the cinema to watch them all, or you just wait?
I mean, ever since I was young, I've always been pining for the superhero movies to get better and better. And I mean, I have to admit, it's probably the best time for any comic book fan out there, including young and old, to actually enjoy what's out there right now.
Of course,
the Avengers movies, Spider-Man movies, some of the DC movies as well. Okay, so it's probably the best time to be.
And if you write you draw your own characters, right? Yeah. So do you have your own comic?
I was actually working on a comic, but then the problem was I kind of felt it restricted me. Plus, on top of that, it takes a bit more time.
Of course,
in doing that. So the pin-up stuff is basically what I could do much quicker, faster, better detailed as well, and somehow I should enjoy it more, really. As much as I have got comics in the works, and there is one or two stories that I wouldn't mind telling, but hopefully if I can get a good pace where I can draw them, then hopefully one day someone will actually read it.
So tell people how you got to this stage in your business. So you said you were interested in it, but tell people like how much do you work? What's your routine? How do you contact trade shows? Tell people just a little bit how the kind of operations
goes. All right. Okay. When I was getting into all the comic stuff, and I knew, obviously you can actually work for companies like Marvel and DC and everything. I tried to obviously apply to them, but they have got a big high demand. So no matter how good I may be or someone else may be, maybe in their eyes you're not that good or you're not perfect. So the other route that you can take is basically you attend Comic Cons. Comic Cons, they have sometimes the editors from Marvel, DC there as well, and they do portfolio reviews as well. So they check out your work. That's if you actually want to go with them. But over the years, I've realized that you can also make your own stuff and sell your own work and everything, and that obviously gave me the freedom and not restrictions that sometimes the companies do. So I mean, when I saw that there's other artists who are basically just setting up tables themselves, I thought, let me give it a crack myself. So from 4 or 5 years ago, what I did was with my regular day job, when I used to have a bit more spare time, I thought, you know what, let me do some work. So I made some samples of pieces together, which I'll basically just do at home, really. And basically what I'm working with is obviously pencils, a brush pen, and basically marker pens. That's my main specialty thing that I do. I can also do watercolors and paints if needed, but I just haven't done it for a meantime. The markers seem to be the best thing and the quickest thing I could do really right now. So, and sometimes it varies from how I'll make the piece on a daily basis. It depends how detailed or what a character is and what I'm doing really. So it could take basically a whole day, it could take a couple of days. Depends what my time restriction is, and so sometimes I can whip them out in a day really quickly. Sometimes it may take longer.
And how often are you drawing?
Every day.
You draw without
I've basically got an itch where I feel weird where if I don't draw, I'm missing something. So I need to do something, even if it's a sketch, even if it's a finished piece, but I have to do something.
And this is like in your at home, on holiday, everywhere you kind of wherever you go.
I think holiday I tend not to do it, but
you miss it.
The itch does still creep out, and then I need to find a piece of paper, and then I just have to doodle something really. So, so I take a little sketch pad with me to see if I can do something, just to keep practicing. Because artist never gets good 100% really. He's always learning new things
Of course,
and everything. So so obviously.
And have you made a lot of like friends in the industry and things like that?
Yeah,
or
I mean, ever since
is it-
I did the Comic Cons, and the good factor for me right now is that there's so many happening now. Back in the early 80s as well and 90s, there's only like maybe 2 or 3 each year. Now there are literally like, I have to admit, there's like 50, 60 throughout the whole year.
like one a week kind of thing.
Almost. I'm hoping there will be one a week because then I can do it as a regular job. Then
Yeah.
So once I got into there, and then whoever I was like sitting next to, obviously just became a friend, and then that person would introduce somebody else, or you would go around looking and chat to other people, and then the community and the friendship just grows. I mean, I've made so many friends, a lot of good contacts as well, and everything, and get to know the organisers as well sometimes. So
what are the key differences between the first Comic Con you went to as an artist to the one you went to most recently?
Well, I was quite surprised, that how much I actually made in my first one, and I didn't expect to sell that much, because I was quite surprised, thinking, wow, do actually people like my stuff? Because I was quite surprised.
The big artist question, right?
Yeah.
I make this art, will anyone like it?
Exactly, exactly. So that's the first step that everyone's always scared to take there, really. But it was way more than I anticipated, and since then, it's actually kept me going ever since then. The recent one that I did last, that one, obviously, I think it kind of varies sometimes on the seasons or the years and stuff. Like, if it's near Christmas time, sometimes you might get lucky, sometimes you don't. I think the last one I did was Ipswich, which last year I attended in the beginning of the year, and I did really well. But at the end of the year, I did okay-ish. Maybe it might be because of the seasons and stuff.
Like timings of lots of things, right? If new movies come out and you're in between new movies, all that kind of stuff probably have an impact as well.
That could make a cut, So...
and you said, we were talking before, and you said like you went to a couple like during the World Cup, which obviously was a massive disruption for the nation.
Exactly,
so you might not have been like as busy, so it makes sense.
Yeah, so it happens as well, really.
So before we move on, and we're going to go on to like present, what you're up to and what you think about like creativity and stuff, but tell people that are listening where they can find you, because that's, for me, that's key. And that's what it's all about. So your Instagram, your website, your Twitter, whatever it is that you've got, tell people how they can get in touch with you.
The main website I've got is Instagram. So it's pretty simple. It's my name, Nomi Rana, which is spelled NOMI RANA, and then art at the end of it.
Nomi Rana Art.
Nomi Rana Art. If you can't find me, just ask Ray.
I'll put everything in the description on the video and in the podcast, so people will be able to find you. But definitely check out your work, because it was really strange how we met in a printing shop.
So that's interesting.
We've chatted a few times for Instagram, and then I was just like, it'd be great to get you on. So thanks for that. Right, we're moving on to the present. Now the present is really about some of the key topics that I touch on in my company, Simply Create. So it touches on community and local business, and it touches on creativity as a tool for any kind of business, which obviously you're going to be quite big on in terms of creativity. But so how do you or have you interacted and engaged with your local community through business recently? So how do you feel like you interact with, and the local business means obviously around here, and then we move on to an artistic community, if that makes sense.
All right. Where I originally came from, which is Leyton, there's another area near there called Leytonstone. I kind of got involved with what's called the Leytonstone Arts Trail. That was like the local community type of arts festival type thing that happens every year in July time. It does for about 2 weeks. So I thought, let me, as much as I actually I'm going to the Comic Cons, let me try my hand in local community stuff again, see if my stuff can branch out into different areas and locations.
Of course,
So I tried that, and I've actually been with them for roughly about 9 years.
Wow, amazing.
So on and off sometimes with them as well, and that's another way of actually showcasing my work. Some people have actually purchased some items from there, which has been good. But I think because it's 2 different areas, my stuff's more comic-y stuff, and Arts Fair is more kind of like more fine art-y.
So you kind of stand out almost in that.
Yeah, I do. But it's not everyone's cup of tea, my stuff. Of course, So everyone's got the different choices, really. So that's why I realised the Comic Cons are more accessible for my stuff, really. So,
but nice to be a niche in an art fair where there's different types of art, and you're a type. So
exactly.
like you said, some people are not going to like it, but then you get the one or two or whatever.
One or two happens. Yeah. So,
nice.
and my hopefully, if I can try to again this year, is that if I can find some more of these arts fairs or community things happening, then it'd be good to actually go to these places. Where I moved to recently, I haven't looked into it yet. Okay, to see obviously if they've got any art community, because somehow Chadwell Heath's a bit behind on these type of things at the moment. But I know they've opened up a kind of like a community hall place recently. I think it was 2-3 years ago. So it'd be nice to actually see that if this place was booming and a bit more art-related stuff going on as well. Really.
I was going to say, is there something that you that the community could do to support your type of business, which is obviously art? Is there an idea you've had? It would be really good if this happened, or something along the way, or is it just the fact that it would be good if they kind of made a dedicated place or a...
I think a dedicated place as well would be good, because there's so much interesting locations you've got around here. This area is kind of like similar to how Leyton is, because Leyton's in the middle of everything. You've got Stratford, Walthamstow, Ilford all around it, and Chadwell Heath's the same thing. Okay, you've got Seven Kings, you've got Collier Road, Romford, everything around it. So it's like a little small town in the middle amongst all these other bigger places. And I think probably one of the best way to make it a bit more lively and happening is obviously introduce more art stuff or creative things going on as well. Okay, and it might even affect the area, and people might start putting like murals up or something like that.
Or getting artists to design like buildings, like we're sitting in here. But obviously, if you had a shop front or whatever,
exactly, So
amazing. Okay, how important do you think creativity is for a business? Now, obviously, your business, it's very important in terms of being creative, but in terms of any business, how important do you think it is?
Well, I think, everyone knows, visuals catch people's eyes. In advertising, fashion, everything, everyone sees things visually or everything. And obviously, with creativity, in any business, they have to make something catchy that catches people's eyes. Really. No matter what advert it is or product it is, something has to be attractive for someone to say, oh wow, I need to get that. So I think, and obviously with creativity, you need to actually obviously be there with the competition of other companies doing what they can and everything. So the more chances you take on certain things as well, will probably benefit each company and everything out there, really. So
you need to keep up with what's kind of going on, and it's kind of ever changing, ever evolving, ever growing. I definitely agree. And sometimes, because people are not potentially as upfront with or big on creativity, they let that fall behind a bit, and then it's a struggle to kind of catch up. Can you tell listeners or viewers something you're currently struggling with in your business? Now, the reason I ask this is because at least have struggled with, and the reason I ask this is because lots of businesses go on a journey and they get to a stage, and then people think that the journey just kind of happened overnight and they got to a certain place and it happened. But I think there's always something that someone's struggling with at some point. It doesn't have to be, massive or a big, detriment, but something that you find hard in your business, or especially when you're freelance by yourself. Sometimes you've got to wear all the hats all the time. So is there something that you struggle with or are struggling with currently?
The only thing that comes to mind, which my goal was to do last year, which I haven't done, obviously, it's make an online shop. For my products. So for all my images and everything, because every time when I'm at a con, people say, "Oh, have you got a website where I can purchase or a shop?" And
definitely.
I haven't had actually got around to do it, because I know there's a lot of different companies. You got obviously there's eBay, Etsy, there's some other places as well. But I just, because I've been so busy with the cons and stuff, I just haven't got around to doing that. So I think that's probably, online shop is one of the key things to actually have, really, because some people are, every time I've met someone at the cons and they said, have you got online shop? And I said, no, I haven't. I always say to them, oh no, you can always contact me and I can always actually send it out to you and everything like that. But I know sometimes some people are either shy or they never forget it.
Follow
sometimes,
through.
So if they see there's a shop there, they'd rather just do it quietly, order it, and they'll know, I don't have to go through a third person or something like that, really.
Yeah, I think it's a great one, because I think there's so much potential in passive income. So between your cons to sell work if you have an online shop, and also the people are browsing the net all the time. So just people stumbling across, not even been to a con or anything, finding your stuff and ordering it. So I think Yeah, get that
Online shop
that
is- yeah, I need
online
to get
shop
that,
going.
yeah. I need to.
What do you think is the most unique thing about you and your business, or you as an artist?
Oh boy. I mean, I think in my field as well, okay, that you need to kind of like be a bit different from the rest of the people as well. I mean, I think that's the main key thing that you have, okay, is that you have to stand out and somehow surprise people with your stuff that you've got, with your products and everything. So, I mean, my main thing has always been, okay, that my style kind of like is a combination between anime, manga, comics, fantasy and graffiti. That's kind of it's like a mix of all that. So it's colourful as well. There's a bit of gothic style into it as well, where I usually do black and white stuff as well.
Yeah.
So I've had people say to me they like my car stuff a lot. That wow, it's striking. And when they come to the store and I've got it stuck on the walls and everything, they stand there for about 5-10 minutes, like mesmerised, just looking up and down.
Nice.
And I say to them, so what's caught your eye? And they say, everything. It's just that the colours are like
Vibrant,
and everything, and really striking and everything. And they said there's so much energy, and that's what I like to predict in my work. At the same time, they also say my black and white stands out. The contrast between the light and the darkness that you put into them. So, and I think the style that I've got is a bit pop arty, but at the same time, like it touches fantasy, anime, comics.
It's a real mashup.
Exactly. That's it. And I think that's what's kind of like key nowadays. A lot of people are doing a lot of mashup stuff.
Yeah.
And my intention wasn't that. My intention was just that let me just do what I can.
What comes to you.
Yeah, what comes to me, exactly what I'm good at and everything. And it's actually struck a chord with a lot of people. And 5 years later, I'm still selling stuff, and people are asking me for commissions. They obviously like something I'm doing. So
Great. How do you kind of between the cons, maybe at the cons even, but how do you advertise your business, and what's been the most effective way that you have at some point?
As much as I've tried it with the arts trail for the community stuff, that hasn't helped much. It's a bit, but not much. The best thing that I've mainly used is probably Instagram.
Okay.
Instagram, and I think the best thing is attending as many cons as I possibly can. Obviously meeting the public and obviously meeting random people in the street and just telling them nice. Obviously when I bumped into you,
that's what
and you saw my stuff there, I told you about me and everything. And I think some people are kind of like shy about selling or telling what they do and everything. But I'm just thinking, that could be one little chance that you miss and everything in life. You never know. And everything. So everyone I meet, obviously there's introduction stuff. You can't just soon say hello to a person. You can't say, oh yeah, I'm a nice straight away. You can't say that. There's a nice way of introduction. You say off and let's see how they are and everything. And, just have a little quick intro, and then you never know, okay, by taking a little chance by saying, oh, are you interested in art? And if they say, oh yeah, I am, and then I say, oh, I'm a nice. So how about checking my work out? So sometimes word of mouth helps a lot. Instagram helps because obviously I put up work on it daily, and
I see it all the time. I love it.
People are shocked on it, saying, "How the hell did you do it daily?" and everything. And I said, "I've got a love for the work and a passion for it." And then obviously,
do you also have a backlog of stuff, like where you create more and more, so you can go through your backlog, or is it literally daily?
Well, daily, yeah. I have daily. Instagram. If you see, I've probably got more posts on there than I have actually got followers, because I've been putting out for the past 4 years. Ever since I've started that. I've done that. So also in the cons as well. Whenever I meet anyone, I've got my business cards as well. I hand them out to people and everything. And those are the only 2 ways I've done it. But if there's other ways, like obviously for internet and something, then I'm open to actually
put your suggestions in the comments.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Do you have a practical tip for anyone starting out or who wants to get started in what you do? Like something, if someone's listening to you and they're like inspired by what you do, have you got something practical they can go and do?
Okay, best thing obviously it's probably kind of the one thing that people try to avoid. Even I avoided it myself, okay, but as much as you want to avoid it, you have to come back to them. That is basically life drawing. Some people don't like. I never used to like it. I used to obviously just copy it from the image, from the pictures, or try to memorize what things look like. But at the end of the day, okay, life drawing is important because it's kind of like the foundation of the structure of the figure. top of that, obviously learn how the figure form is as well. You know, everyone's body's not stiff or everything, you know, it's muscles there that tend to relax and everything like that. So yeah, basically observing everything as well is important as well. And I think the main thing is just practice like mad, really. Draw every day, and just if there's something you're struggling with, keep drawing it again and again and again, okay, until you crack it, really. So there is obviously other things I can mention, like what books are good. Which
you've
tells
got
you,
one?
do you want me to say
Yeah.
I mean, the one,
many tips as possible.
Yeah,
I'm sure anyone listening will love them. So.
the one book that I always suggest to everybody, and it's not only because you have to be interested in comics, all right, but it's just a very nice book to read because it tells you kind of like a basic way of how to learn certain things, and that's called How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way.
The Marvel Way.
Marvel
How to draw comics the Marvel Way.
It's from Marvel itself. Stan Lee himself actually wrote it, and an artist provided the artwork, which is John Buscema. And in there, it just tells you that when you're observing things, if something looks very hard to draw, just break it down and imagine it that it's shapes. So if you've got like an arm, just imagine it's like a cylinder shape, all right? Or the chest area, just imagine it's like a box shape, or the head, okay, kind of like a egg shape. Egg shape, basically. And then once you put them together, okay, you get like a rough outline of what the body shape is. And that's when you go into it, okay, when you put the finer details of the muscles, then the clothing on top of it as well. So that's why reading about or studying muscles as well, how they bend and move as well.
The anatomy a bit.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay,
Anatomy is obviously very important as well, really. So, and then that book basically tells you how to draw almost everything, how proportion the body should be. It tells you things from faces, hair, hands. People struggle with hands and feet a lot. So it tells you how to do that as well in there. And then it goes into more further things like perspective, buildings, cars, you name it. It's basically, it covers everything it does. And once you get your way of actually drawing your foundations, that afterwards, okay, don't think of this, people think of the style, they want to do the style first, okay? But
Styles last.
Styles last.
And progressive, yeah.
Get the foundation down first, okay? If you know you can draw a person, okay, then over the years, when you see other influences, okay, of an artist, maybe then you can incorporate that into the style and you change things then after that. The way how I actually did it was, I like there's a lot of artists I like, so I try to pick and choose certain things of it I like, and I just combine it all together. And my style, when people say, your style looks familiar, but at the same time, I can't make out what it is. But then people say to me, man, your style is very different. I've never seen it before. It's probably because I've mixed in a lot of different other artists in there, but at the same time, I've put in other things from other little aspects of genres and stuff. And more things. So it's like a whole, again, I'm in a mashup. All right, and that's why people can't pinpoint it, but there's always something in there that they can relate to as well, and say, I've actually seen something similar to that, but you've done it in a different way or your own way and stuff. So that's what I think maybe.
So don't go for the style first, go for the foundations first, practice, then add your style in later on.
Or it will develop as well, maybe. It might come naturally in there as well sometimes, and you'll see.
Great. I think that's great practical advice. If anyone's looking at, getting started, definitely take that on board. Okay, so now we move on to the future section. So there's only a few questions in this bit. But what are you most excited about for you and your business in the next 12 to 18 months? So what's getting you I need to get that done, or I'm ready for that? Maybe it's a big event. Maybe it's working on a commission. I don't know.
Well, all right. One thing that would be interesting, obviously, would be it'd be nice. Okay, obviously, if I was more recognised. Obviously, slowly it's happening. People are seeing me and they recognise who I am and everything. It'd be nice if obviously it progressed more bigger as well on that part. Projects-wise, I mean, it'd be interesting if, let's just say, some bigger companies did approach me saying, "Oh, we like your style, wouldn't mind working with you." So that's obviously a nice little.
Do you approach them?
I haven't really. I mean, a lot of people have told me, okay, I should try it again, and I don't know. Maybe I think at the moment things are going nicely at the moment, and somehow.
Don't want to rock the boat. Yeah.
I'm kind of happy at the moment, really. So that's it, really. I think so. Commissions-wise, well, I'm open to any commission, really, no matter how big or small they are, really. I mean, I'm currently working on quite a lot of few at the moment. Last year, I've been working probably mad, really, on not a lot of commissions, but I've been busy.
I've been busy.
Constant, exactly.
That's great for business.
Exactly, yeah. I would like it if it came to a point where if I ever say to myself, I can't take on anymore, okay, then I realize, wow, I'm
Lucky.
I'm lucky
Yeah, to get to that
my
point.
God, I've got to that point, okay, which would be amazing. I wish that never happens.
Yeah, of course.
Because I like to do as much as I possibly can for whoever requires it, really. And yeah, I think that, nothing makes me more happy than pleasing other people with my skills I can do, really. So,
Do you have a favourite or most productive or most useful tool, an app or something for your piece of technology for your business? So I know that you're pen and you
Pencil,
pencil, but in terms of tech or something, a tool that you find the most productive, is there anything you found really helpful?
Well, it's a bit of a hard question to answer because all my stuff that I do is all practical. Nothing's done on digitally at all. So any picture you see of mine, no matter how much you might think, does that look digital or not? It's not. Everything's hand drawn and basically just originally scanned to the computer and then basically just printed out from the original copy years. So the only thing I can think of tech-wise, apart from the pens and pencils and tools that I use, okay, it's probably a mobile phone. That hopefully helps in every day and age in Instagramming. I can keep on track on things as well, okay.
Let's go back to your tool a minute. Have you got one recommendation of like a really good type of pen or type of paper or something, just in case? Because it's great that you haven't got tech, because that's what you do, but anybody's listening to this will be like, yeah, but it'd be great to know what pen he uses, because should I just go and get a normal marker or?
No, well, okay. Is it alright if I recommend a few things?
Definitely.
Yeah? Alright. Okay, pencil-wise, you could use any pencil, alright, but they're all the same. It's just a graphite pencil. I think if you're going to do something like inking, the one thing that's handy, okay, a lot of people in the professional business use quill pens. You dip it in the ink and everything like that, but that's a bit harder sometimes. So the new thing, kind of new thing that's come out over the past years is called a brush pen. It's basically from Japan, it is, but you can get it on websites, eBay, okay, it costs only about £10 it does. That's very handy.
Is there a particular brand? I know that we're shouting it out here.
Yeah, Pentool.
Pentool,
yeah, Pentel or TAL, Pentool. It's a bit commonly known as
okay, yeah.
That's very handy, but the problem is it's very tricky to use it.
Okay.
So you need a lot of practice with that as well, really. So you can say after 7-8 years I've been using it I still struggle to draw a circle because it's like a paintbrush. And drawing a paintbrush is very hard. That's the best thing for inking. Paper-wise, thicker the better, I'd say. So something that's 300 GSM or 400 GSM is always good to use, okay, because when you apply ink to it, it absorbs it and doesn't leak out onto the back of it.
It doesn't bleed or anything.
It doesn't bleed or anything like that. So that's a good thing to have. I think they're probably the main things for that. And marker pens, which I use mainly. A lot of people use Copics, but they're very expensive. So the ones I usually use is Pro markers, which were around originally first. But obviously other brands have come out and try to get better and better. But all my work is still done by the old Pro markers, and I've noticed that they are still somehow the color consistent of there are nice and rich color, and somehow they're just nice and vibrant as well there.
Great.
That's it.
I think there's some great tips in here for anyone who wants to get started as an artist, so thank you for that. Only a couple of questions left. Yeah. So scenario one, but it's more about like almost like you giving a tip of inspiration or motivation to anybody. But if someone was leaving school or college or doesn't have a job and was looking to get started in the industry, is there a recommendation of something you think they should do? Not necessarily practical, like draw every day, but like an attitude they should have, or how they go about approaching people, or something. Just a tip that you've learned, maybe.
Best thing I'd say, okay, is I think just try to be nice and friendly to anyone you meet. Really, I mean, I've had one time at a con where some young girl was there with her mum, and basically the daughter was trying to learn how to do things, and she was still at school. And because I gave her about half an hour of my time, telling her how to draw things and this and that stuff, she was so pleased that I gave her half an hour of my time, okay, that when she went back on her Instagram and commenting about me, she actually said, okay, that, he listened to me like an adult, he didn't treat me like a kid, and, took me seriously and everything, and he gave me these really amazing, tips and everything. Yeah. And she said that was very nice of him to actually do that and everything, go out his way. Even the girl's mum was pretty pleased that I did that and everything. That was nice and friendly.
Of course.
I was listening and just hearing out what they had to say and everything. And that, I think, is pretty key. I mean, when I'm at the cons, no matter how many, sometimes, you know, you get normal people, sometimes you might get some weird people as well, okay? But, the best thing is listen to everybody, I'd say. You know, I think I had one time where some guy said to me, I went around looking everywhere and people were just drawing away and stuff. But somehow you stopped and you listened to what I was talking to you about. We spoke for half an hour and then he said, oh, you know what, I'm actually going to buy a print off you. And I was like, wow, really? And he said, just because everybody was busy, okay, didn't make the effort to actually stop and listen.
Yeah.
And I did and everything. And that, you know, I was like, okay, wow, yeah, sure, go ahead and everything. So I think, you know, be attentive, you know, just listen to people, be
friendly.
Be friendly, yeah. That's all you need to do. There's nothing else you need to do.
And do that consistently.
Yeah, exactly. I know it's a bit hard, okay, trying to keep a smile and greeting everyone. You might get some odd characters that don't smile and feel like, okay. But then just try to break the ice a bit with a little joke or something, really, that you can relate to.
Great. And so we're on to the last question. The final question is, do you have a question that you'd like to ask me? And then we're kind of done. You completely up to you, whatever. I've kind of feel like when I do these podcasts that I ask you loads of questions and fire and put you under it, so I kind of just give you a chance to do it back if you want to, but you haven't got it if you don't want to.
I can't think of anything really. I could probably just say thank you very much for giving me this interview and podcast. I mean, it's been great.
Yeah,
it's
my
first
been great.
time, so you know, I hope when you do upload it, or you know, something comes out of it or someone does contact me.
Me too. So thank you very much for giving me your time. That's always kind of the biggest asset people can give. But I think you've had some great advice, some great hints and tips in there. You've got some great stories so if anyone wants to know any more stories, definitely get in touch. If you want to check out Nomi's work, then I'll be uploading some of the pictures on it anyway and obviously we'll put the description of your Instagram of where they can and just get in touch. But thank you very much for your time.
No problem.
Take care and all the best.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ray.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a review, and any comments with any feedback would be much appreciated.